Gabriel Reyes had made many questionable decisions in his life. Buying a starship at 3 o'clock in the morning was definitely near the top of the list. It had started as a joke. A stupid joke. The kind people make when they're tired, bored, and scrolling through online auctions. Gabriel had been sitting in his tiny apartment on Karani's Prime when he found the listing. A heavily damaged combat cruiser. Unknown condition. No warranty. No refund. No questions answered. The images were blurry. The description was terrible. And the price was ridiculous. 400 credits. A ship like that should have been worth millions. Even damaged. Even stripped for parts. Which was exactly why Gabriel assumed it was a scam. So naturally, he placed a bid. Just for fun. Then he forgot about it. Until the next morning. Purchase confirmed. Gabriel nearly dropped his coffee. No. He checked the message again. Then again. Then a fourth time. The result never changed. He had won. Somehow. He now legally owned a combat cruiser. 3 days later, Gabriel stood in a rundown dockyard staring at the worst financial decision of his life. The ship was enormous. Its hull was scarred by countless battles. Paint peeled from the metal. Old insignias covered the surface. Most had been burned away long ago. The cruiser looked less like a vehicle and more like something that had survived a war. Which, Gabriel suspected, it probably had. A mechanic standing nearby shook his head. "You actually bought that thing?" Gabriel sighed. "Unfortunately." The mechanic laughed. "Good luck." That wasn't comforting. The large loading ramp groaned open. Darkness waited inside. Gabriel activated a flashlight, then stepped aboard. The interior smelled surprisingly clean. Not abandoned. Not neglected. Lived in. That realization made him pause. The auction listing had claimed the ship was empty. Yet someone had clearly been maintaining it. The corridors were clean. Power systems still worked. Emergency lights glowed softly overhead. Something felt wrong. Very wrong. Gabriel continued deeper into the ship. His footsteps echoed through the halls. Every shadow suddenly seemed suspicious. Every doorway looked dangerous. The uneasy feeling grew stronger. Then he reached the main command deck. The door slid open, and a blade immediately pressed against his throat. Gabriel froze. His heart nearly exploded. A plasma knife hummed inches from his skin. The glowing edge crackled with deadly energy. One movement, one mistake, and his head would be rolling across the floor. Slowly, Gabriel raised both hands. "Okay." His voice cracked. "Let's all stay calm." The woman holding the knife didn't look calm. She looked dangerous. Very dangerous. Blue skin. Silver eyes. Black hair. Athletic build. Everything about her screamed trouble. She studied him carefully. "Who are you?" Her voice was smooth. Cold. Controlled. Gabriel swallowed. "Gabriel Reyes." The woman's eyes narrowed. "No." The knife pressed slightly closer. "You're not." Gabriel blinked. "What?" "You're not Gabriel Reyes." That was one of the strangest accusations he'd ever heard. "I literally am Gabriel Reyes." The alien woman looked unconvinced. So Gabriel activated his wrist display. A holographic receipt appeared. Purchase confirmed. Owner, Gabriel Reyes. Her eyes flicked toward the display, then back to him. Slowly, very slowly, the knife lowered. A few seconds later, she tossed it onto a nearby console. The weapon clattered loudly against the metal. Unbelievable. She rubbed her forehead. They actually sold it. Gabriel finally breathed again. Great. He pointed toward the knife. Can we maybe start with why that happened? The woman crossed her arms. Studying him. Evaluating him. Almost like deciding whether he was worth keeping alive. Finally she spoke. Name's Zyra. Gabriel nodded. Okay, Zyra. He glanced around the ship. My ship. Her eyebrow lifted. Technically. Gabriel frowned. Technically. A faint smirk touched her lips. The expression somehow made her look even more dangerous. Because this isn't just a ship. Something in her tone made his stomach tighten. What does that mean? Zyra walked toward the main console. With a few commands, a holographic blueprint appeared. The cruiser's full design rotated above the controls. Weapons. Shield systems. Stealth technology. Military hardware. Far more advanced than anything Gabriel expected. His eyes widened. Wait. This thing actually works? Zyra laughed. Oh, it works. The laugh vanished. And that's the problem. Gabriel didn't like the sound of that. Not one bit. Then Zyra activated another file. A red warning symbol flashed across the display. Then another. And another. Until the entire screen was covered with alerts. Bounties. Wanted notices. Military warnings. Criminal warrants. Gabriel stared. His face slowly drained of color. What? His voice came out as a whisper. Is that? Zyra folded her arms. Your inheritance. Gabriel looked at her. Then at the screen. Then back at her. No. Yes. No. Definitely yes. Gabriel groaned. What did I buy? Zyra's silver eyes locked onto his. For the first time, there was no humor in them. Only warning. Only danger. Only truth. Then she gave him the answer that would change his life forever. You bought a ship the galaxy wants back. And somewhere far beyond Karani's prime. Someone had just discovered the cruiser was active again. Gabriel stared at the holographic screen. Dozens of bounty notices covered the display. Red warning symbols flashed everywhere. Military alerts. Criminal warrants. Tracking requests. Every single one was attached to the ship. His ship. Gabriel slowly looked up, then looked at Zyra, then back at the screen. Nope. Zyra blinked. What? I reject this reality. He pointed toward the display. I bought a cheap spaceship. Another point. I did not buy whatever this nightmare is. A small smile appeared on Zyra's face. Unfortunately, the nightmare came free. Gabriel groaned. That wasn't funny. Well, maybe a little, but mostly terrifying. He dropped into the pilot's chair. Start talking. Zyra crossed her arms. What do you want to know? Everything. She laughed. That would take days. Then start with why half the galaxy wants this ship. The amusement disappeared from her face. For several moments, she remained silent. Then she activated another file. A list of names appeared. Most were marked dead. Some were marked missing. Only one remained active. Zyra. Gabriel felt a cold chill. What am I looking at? The Black Star Legion. Her voice was unusually quiet. We were an elite mercenary group. Were. A shadow crossed her face. Yes. Gabriel suddenly understood. Everyone else on the list was gone. Dead. Hunted. Erased. And Zyra was the last survivor. The realization made the room feel colder. What happened? Zyra stared at the screen. We took a job. A bad one. Gabriel waited. After several seconds, she continued. We stole something powerful. From the wrong people. His stomach tightened. How powerful? Zyra's silver eyes met his. Powerful enough to kill an entire crew. That answer did not help. At all. Gabriel leaned back. So let me get this straight. He pointed toward himself. I accidentally bought a hunted warship. Then pointed toward her. Owned by a mysterious alien. Then toward the screen. And every former owner ended up dead. Zyra nodded. That's a surprisingly accurate summary. Fantastic. He covered his face. Absolutely fantastic. For a moment, silence filled the bridge. Then Gabriel remembered something. Wait. His eyes narrowed. Why are you still here? Zyra frowned. What do you mean? You've been hiding on this ship. She didn't answer. That answer was answer enough. Gabriel sat forward. You've been living here. A pause. Then, 2 years. His jaw dropped. 2 years. Zyra shrugged. It was safer. Safer than literally anywhere else. Yes. The speed of her response worried him. A lot. Because she sounded serious. Very serious. Gabriel rubbed his temples. The more he learned, the worse everything became. Then suddenly a loud alarm exploded throughout the ship. Warning. 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 Both froze. Red lights flashed across the bridge. Gabriel jumped from the chair. What was that? Zyra was already moving. Her fingers flew across the controls. Multiple sensor readings appeared. Her expression hardened instantly. And that terrified Gabriel more than the alarm itself. What is it? No answer. Zyra. Still no answer. Finally she spoke. We've been found. Gabriel felt his stomach drop. What? A new screen appeared. A ship. Then another. And another. 3 unidentified vessels approaching rapidly. Fast. Very fast. Gabriel swallowed. Friends. Zyra looked at him. The look alone answered the question. No. The sensors suddenly identified one of the ships. Zoran Guild. Gabriel's blood ran cold. Even he recognized that name. Elite bounty hunters. Professional killers. The kind of people nobody wanted chasing them. Ever. Tell me they're passing by. They're locking weapons. Gabriel immediately stood. Okay. New plan. What plan? We leave. Zyra smiled. For the first time since the alarm started. A dangerous smile. I was hoping you'd say that. The engines roared to life. The entire cruiser shook beneath their feet. Outside, The bounty hunter ships accelerated, closing the distance. Fast. Very fast. Missile locks appeared across the sensor screen. Warning indicators flashed red. Target acquired. Target acquired. Target acquired. Gabriel gripped the armrests. This is bad. Zyra activated the main thrusters. The cruiser surged forward. No. Her silver eyes narrowed. A confident grin spread across her face. This is where things get interesting. And behind them, the bounty hunters opened fire. The cruiser exploded forward. Its engines roared like an angry beast. Gabriel nearly fell out of his seat. Behind them, 3 Zyran Guild bounty hunter ships accelerated, closing the distance. Fast. Very fast. Red warning symbols flashed across every screen. Missile lock detected. Gabriel gripped the armrests. This is really bad. Zyra didn't look worried, which somehow made Gabriel more worried. The blue-skinned alien woman sat calmly in the pilot's chair. Silver eyes focused, hands moving across the controls with impossible confidence. The ship rolled sideways. A missile screamed past the viewport. Boom. An explosion lit up space behind them. Gabriel's heart nearly stopped. How are you so calm? Zyra smirked. I've had worse mornings. Another missile lock warning appeared. Gabriel stared at her. How? Long story. Short version. She grinned. I survived. That wasn't reassuring. At all. The cruiser suddenly banked hard. Ahead of them floated a massive asteroid field. Thousands of giant rocks drifted through space. A deadly maze of stone and metal. Gabriel pointed. Please tell me we're not going in there. Zyra increased speed. We're going in there. Why? Because they're stupid enough to follow. Seconds later, they entered the asteroid field. Huge rocks flashed past the windows. The cruiser twisted between narrow gaps. Gabriel felt sick. Very sick. He wasn't a pilot. He wasn't a soldier. And he definitely wasn't ready for whatever this was. Meanwhile, Zyra looked completely comfortable. Almost happy. The realization was slightly terrifying. Another explosion rocked the ship. One bounty hunter had clipped an asteroid. The vessel spun wildly, then vanished in a ball of fire. 1 down. 2 remaining. Gabriel blinked. Did you plan that? Zyra smiled. Maybe. He groaned. Of course she did. The woman was insane. Beautiful. Dangerous. But definitely insane. The moment the thought crossed his mind, Gabriel froze. Beautiful? Where had that come from? His eyes drifted toward Zyra. The blue glow of the control panels reflected against her skin. Her dark hair flowed across one shoulder. The intense concentration in her silver eyes made her look even more striking. Gabriel immediately looked away. Nope. Absolutely not. This was a terrible idea. She was dangerous. Mysterious. Probably hiding half the truth. And might get him killed. Definitely not relationship material. Unfortunately, his brain wasn't listening. As if sensing his attention, Zyra glanced sideways. Their eyes met. For a second, neither spoke. Then a small smile appeared on her lips. What? Gabriel instantly looked forward. Nothing. Her smile widened. Sure. Heat rushed into his face. Wonderful. Now she thought he was weird. A few seconds later, another alarm sounded. The remaining bounty hunters had caught up again. Problem. Gabriel pointed toward the sensor display. I noticed. Zyra suddenly leaned closer. Very close. Close enough for him to notice the faint scent of spice and something uniquely hers. His brain completely malfunctioned. Gabriel. Her voice was calm. I need you to fire the missiles. What? The missiles? She pointed toward the weapons console. Press that button when I tell you. Oh, right. Missiles. Focus. Survival first. Existential crisis later. The bounty hunters opened fire. Energy blasts flashed past the ship. One shot grazed the shields. Warning lights exploded across the bridge. Zyra dove between 2 massive asteroids. The gap looked impossibly small. Gabriel shut his eyes. We're dead. We're fine. We're definitely dead. We're not. The cruiser shot through the gap. Barely. The pursuing bounty hunter followed. Exactly as Zyra expected. Now, Gabriel slammed the missile button. A missile launched. The enemy ship dodged. Straight into a giant asteroid. The impact was immediate. Boom. Fire filled space. The vessel vanished. Only one bounty hunter remained. Gabriel stared. That actually worked. Zyra looked pleased. See, I told you we'd survive. The final hunter accelerated toward them. Weapons charging. Preparing for one last attack. Zyra activated a series of controls. The ship's engines began glowing brighter. Much brighter. Gabriel frowned. What are you doing? Her grin returned. The fun part. The stars outside suddenly stretched. The warp drive activated. The cruiser vanished into hyperspace. And the last bounty hunter was left behind. Silence filled the ship. For several seconds neither moved. Neither spoke. Then Gabriel finally exhaled. We lived. Zyra laughed. A real laugh. Warm. Genuine. Beautiful. And before he could stop himself, Gabriel smiled too. For the first time since buying the cursed ship, things didn't feel completely hopeless. Unfortunately, neither of them knew that someone far more dangerous than bounty hunters had just discovered their location. And the secret hidden inside the cruiser was about to change everything. The ship drifted quietly through hyperspace. For the first time in hours, nobody was shooting at them. No missiles. No bounty hunters. No explosions. Gabriel sat in the cockpit staring at the stars stretching endlessly outside the viewport. His hand still shook slightly from the chase. Across from him, Zyra remained unusually quiet, which immediately made him nervous. Normally, she always had something sarcastic to say. Now she simply stared at a blinking message on the main console. Gabriel noticed it. What's that? Zyra hesitated, then slowly activated the transmission. The screen flickered. Static filled the speakers. A man's face appeared. Older. Battle-scarred. Wearing the insignia of the Black Star Legion. Gabriel recognized him immediately from the bounty records. Commander Ryland Kess. A dead man. At least he was supposed to be dead. The recording began. Zyra. His voice crackled through the speakers. If you're seeing this, then somehow you're still alive. Zyra froze. For the first time since Gabriel met her. She looked emotional. The commander continued. They got to us. They found the Legion. But before they did, I hid the package. Gabriel frowned. Package? The message glitched. Static flashed across the screen. Then Ryland appeared again. The truth is still aboard the ship. You know where to find it. His expression hardened. And if they discover what we stole, they'll kill everyone connected to it. The message suddenly ended. Silence filled the cockpit. Heavy. Uncomfortable. Gabriel slowly turned toward Zyra. What package? She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she stood, without a word, and headed toward the lower deck. Gabriel followed. Several minutes later, they arrived in an old storage compartment. Dust covered the walls. Most of the room looked abandoned, at least until Zyra knelt beside a maintenance panel. Her fingers moved across the surface. Click. A hidden compartment opened. Gabriel's eyes widened. Inside sat a small reinforced lockbox. Please tell me that's not a bomb. Zyra actually smiled. Not this time. She entered a security code. The box opened. Inside rested a single data drive. Tiny. Simple. Ordinary. Which somehow made it even more terrifying. Gabriel stared. That's what everyone's dying for. Zyra nodded. Looks like it. They returned to the bridge. The drive connected to the ship's computer. A holographic display appeared. Rows of classified files flooded the screen. Military records. Secret communications. Encrypted research projects. Thousands of hidden documents. Gabriel's expression slowly changed. Confusion. Shock. Horror. Because the files revealed something impossible. Human experimentation. Alien experimentation. Entire populations used as test subjects. Illegal military programs. Disappearances. Mass executions. Cover-ups. All connected to one organization. The Imperium. The most powerful government in known space. Gabriel stared at the screen. This. His voice barely worked. This could start a war. Zyra nodded slowly. That's why the Legion was erased. The truth finally clicked. The Black Star Legion hadn't been hunted for stealing money, or weapons, or military technology. They had been hunted because they discovered the truth. And now that truth belonged to Gabriel and Zyra, which meant the entire galaxy would soon be hunting them. Gabriel laughed. A tired laugh. The kind people make when things become so ridiculous that sanity stops matching. Zyra looked at him. You okay? No. Fair. Despite everything, both smiled. Because there was nothing else to do. They couldn't unknow the truth. Couldn't erase the files. Couldn't pretend this never happened. The choice had already been made. Gabriel stood. What happens now? Zyra looked at the stars. Then back at him. For the first time, there was no sarcasm. No teasing. No walls. Only honesty. We fight. Gabriel nodded. Good. Her eyebrow lifted. Good. A grin slowly spread across his face. Because I'm tired of running. For a moment, Zyra simply stared. Then she laughed. A genuine laugh. Warm. Proud. Maybe even a little affectionate. You really are insane. Coming from you. Fair point. They shared a smile. The kind that only exists between people who trust each other completely. Outside the viewport, hyperspace shimmered endlessly. Ahead of them waited danger. War. Enemies. Impossible odds. But for the first time, they weren't facing it alone. Gabriel reached for the navigation controls. Where to? Zyra's silver eyes gleamed. Somewhere very dangerous. His grin widened. Perfect. The engines roared. The cruiser accelerated deeper into hyperspace, carrying a human who bought the wrong ship, and an alien woman who refused to abandon it. Together, toward a future that might change the galaxy forever.